afternoon, Raptor fans, and happy Canada Day. And a lot of great things to talk about when it comes to Toronto Raptors this afternoon. Lots of things to get to. We'll talk about Chris Boucher. We'll talk about Thad Young. We'll talk about Otto Porter Jr. And that is where we are going to start with the newest addition to the Toronto Raptors organization. That is Otto Porter Jr. All right, just coming off a championship with the Golden State Warriors. And a lot of Raptor fans remember him from his days with the Washington Wizards and all that shenanigans with them. But that is long gone. And let's talk about the newest Toronto Raptor in Otto Porter Jr. and what he will bring to the Toronto Raptors next season, what he did for the Golden State Warriors last year, and what kind of player he is going to be, what kind of, role is he going to fill on this Raptor squad moving forward. Now, let's start off first with his wife being a Toronto native. Oh, yeah. It's a great start. I think I saw a meme out there that was like, Otto Porter gets called. What's that? Toronto wants me to sign there. The wife's already packing his bags. We're out of this damn country. I think it's hilarious. And that's awesome. You know, you got those ties with Toronto, so that's great news. Maybe he met her in one of those, I don't know, Wizard series in Toronto. I don't know. But let's get to the player that is Otto Porter Jr., right? And before we go any further with his team, with his player stats and kind of what he does on the court, the man is 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. Do I need to say anything more? If that ain't a Toronto basketball player, I don't know what is nowadays. They just love the big dudes, and they got one of them in Otto Porter Jr., all right? Apparently, the Golden State Warriors did offer him a vet minimum contract, and then the Raptors come out and say, well, Otto Porter, we're going to give you a two-year deal with the second year being a player option, which I can't see why he wouldn't pick it up unless he has an ungodly season and he's going to get a crazy payday. The guy's only 29 years old, right? So it's not like he's like 34 looking for a vet minimum deal. No, he's 29 years old. Raptors give him a 2-year deal. He's obviously going to take the security over a vet minimum contract without a doubt. He already won the chip, right? It's not like he needs to take a vet minimum and go and do it again. No, come to a team. He's going to get guaranteed money for a couple of years, and his wife's from the Six, so it makes sense for him. Now let's get to the player stats and what he's going to bring to the Raptors on the court. First off, he's a 3-and-D guy. He's a guy that can guard multiple positions, which, again, the Raptors thoroughly love. And we've seen it countless times last year where they love these guys who can guard multiple positions. And, oh, yeah, he can shoot the three. In the playoffs this past year, the 19 games Golden State Warriors played in the playoffs, or at least that he played in the playoffs, 49% from the field and 40% from three-point range. He's a bench scorer. He's not a guy that's going to take, Scotty Barnes' position or OG's, but no, he's going to come off the bench. And what did we talk about all season long? Needing. You need bench scoring. We thought Svi Mykhailiuk would come in and do that. That clearly did not happen. Otto Porter Jr., he knows his role. His role is to come off the bench, give you solid defense, and knock down some threes. Well, this past season with Golden State, shot 40% from three in the playoffs, 49% from the field. For the season, he shot 46% from the field and 37% from three-point range. So very good stuff for Otto Porter. Very good, again, parameters. Obviously, they're all just numbers, and it's a different team, different organization, blah, blah, blah. However, we know how the Raptors organization is run, especially since this guy is that 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. They'll find a spot for him, that's for damn sure. But it's great to have a little bit more shooting added to the squad. As we've talked about in the offseason preview, we talked about it to end the season. This Raptor team needs shooting, and more or less off the bench. Because when you have guys like Boucher and Thad Young and Precious Achiuwa coming off the bench, that's not the big shooting lineup that you want to see. You don't have really any shooters there. Yeah, Precious can knock down a couple threes when he's hot, and Boucher, when he's in one of his stretches where he can't miss, is great. But when he's cold, we know what we've seen from Boucher from three. So then you kind of lose that shooting touch. And Thad Young, he sprinkled it in a little bit last year, three-point shooting. But again, you didn't really have that. And you thought Svi was going to be that. Didn't happen. So you need to go out there and address that. And at least so far, they do with Otto Porter Jr. He's going to come in off the bench. There's no doubt about that. And he'll knock down some shots. He'll knock down some threes. That's what he's brought here to do. So I like the signing. Again, not a very high-risk signing. The fact that the money hasn't even come out as of yet to know what dollar amount we're giving him tells you very much that it's not going to kill yourself. You're not going to it's not going to kill your cap hit. It's really not. And it's a 2-year contract, so you have him for, again, a couple seasons to kind of figure out what you can do with him. But again, long guy for the Toronto Raptors, and you love what you see. Now, let's get to the two guys coming back to the Toronto Raptors. I think we can agree, though, we knew Boucher, we knew Thad Young wanted to be Toronto Raptors. And that was never a question, because obviously Boucher being a Canadian boy and the Raptors giving him that big shot, and obviously becoming who he is today because of the Raptors organization, and Thad Young coming across from San Antonio last year and talking about how great the organization is, how great the players are, basically fall in love with Scotty Barnes. I mean, who doesn't, though, to be honest? Like, let's be real here. He loved it here. He said it in his post-game, in his postseason press conference that he loved being in Toronto, this and that. And they've returned. Thad Young gets a 2-year, $16 million contract, and people start saying overpay. You realize $8 million a season in the NBA is basically nothing. And Chris Boucher gets a 3-year, $32.25 million contract. I think why? Because we all saw from Chris Boucher about halfway through the last 2/3 of the season that when Chris Boucher found out what he needs to do to stay in this league. Be that energy guy. Be that guy that's crashing the glass, putting those garbage shots in, doing his thing. He was a monster down the stretch. We all saw it happening. The way the energy that he was bringing every single night was incredible. Absolutely outstanding. And he definitely deserved this. He definitely did. And look, it's just a shade over 10 mil a season. Again, it's really not that, it's not extreme. It really isn't. So think about it, Raptor fans, right? The way we look at the season, I know they haven't really lost any players, right? Actually, I don't think they lost anybody. Maybe some low bench guys, but nothing significant. So you bring back Thad Young, you bring back Chris Boucher, and you add Otto Porter, at least so far, to the mix. And you add the young and they drafted as well. So you can't say anything bad about what they've done so far this year. I liked what Thad Young brought to the team. Yeah, the price may have been a little steep. Obviously, the first round pick, it definitely wasn't ideal, but I wasn't losing sleep over it. And bringing him back for a couple more seasons just kind of says, okay, you might have just been okay. It depends, obviously, how it goes over the next couple seasons with Thad Young. But again, it's a veteran guy that shows, we saw the role that he played in Scotty Barnes, right? How many times, if you guys watch or listen to the Raptors show with William Liu and Alex Wong, by the way, I listen to those guys all the time. They're fantastic. They talk to Thad Young. And how many times, have you seen a veteran player say, hey, youngin, don't be taking those stupid fouls. That's my job. And he's showing the kid the ropes, and he's the guy that I want to see talking to Scotty. So he's back for a couple of years. I don't know. I love bringing back Thad. Whether it's on-court or it's off-court stuff, it's so crucial and vital to this organization. And Chris Boucher, I think he just got so much better last season. He deserved it. He really did, the way he ended off last season. All right? Raptor fans, that's going to do it. I broke down everything I could, and more or less, like I've said many times in signing videos, this is about your guys' thoughts in the comments. Go nuts, your thoughts, your opinions on the Otto Porter signing and the re-signing of Chris Boucher and Thaddeus Young. All right, so Raptor fans, that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and are hyped to have Chris Boucher back as a Toronto Raptor, Thad Young back as a Toronto Raptor, and are jacked up for Otto Porter now being a Toronto Raptor, smack the like button, do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, you guys not already. Comment down below thoughts on the video, thoughts on the signings and the re-signings. All right, let me know all crazy stuff in the comments below. And by the way, is Kevin Durant going to be a Toronto Raptor? We'll have to wait and see. But he requested a trade out of Brooklyn. See how that worked. Funny, absolutely hilarious. Anyways, comment down below, guys. Go nuts. Twitter link is down below, so follow up, send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Raptors edition whenever they do something else, because I know him aside, he ain't done. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, Canada Day ball game starts in about 20 minutes time between the Jays and the Rays. All right, so I'll be talking to you guys post-game. Then Corey Kluber, Jose Barrios gets the ball at 3:07 at Rogers Center. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and are jacked up for all these guys coming back and coming to the Toronto Raptors. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. As always, we'll talk to you guys then.